Happy Monday, everybody. This is myself and the great Ingram Joyce from Below TV Boxing. All good, Ingram. How are you today?
All good. How are you doing?
Not bad, not bad. There's so much I want to discuss with you regarding what's going on in boxing. So much going on. First things first. The KSI swarms, that KSI thing. Did you watch it Saturday? Or if you did, what do you think about
that? I didn't watch it. I saw the backflip go wrong. Two fights in one night. Bit of a novelty. George Foreman did it. I think he fought 6 men on one night. But hey, if that's what the people want to see and that's what's making the money, who am I to criticize it? Let him get on. I want to see him on Tommy Fury fight. That'll be fun.
Yeah, definitely. To be honest, the fights were entertaining, very questionable, especially the Mexican fight. That guy did not come to fight. That guy ran around, complained about fake injuries and fake headbutts. So the fights were very suspicious.
I can hardly think that KSI is going to put himself in the ring with somebody who's going to beat him up. I can't, it's entertainment, isn't it? So that's what you've got to look at as entertainment, exhibition, and people making a lot of money, robbing the public blind. I mean, they say Floyd Mayweather was robbing the public blind, but at least Floyd Mayweather could box and he was a master. And he was a genuine bona fide world champion of different weights. These guys are just, they're making the money and they're making a mockery of the sport of boxing, if I'm being honest.
Was it a good business decision for the Zod put on pay-per-view? Because that fight was actually on pay-per-view. I'm not sure you knew. That fight was about, I think it's about 20 quid on pay-per-view.
Like I said, there is a section of people that will be interested and will like that stuff. If you give me KSI versus Tommy Fury, I'm more interested. But otherwise, I don't care. If KSI fights another YouTuber, I don't care. But what I would like to see, as I've said many a time, is to do what they did with football, is where you get the two YouTubers in the room together and you get like Man United versus Man City and get one YouTuber in one room, one YouTuber in the other, and they just go hammer and tog at one another. I'd love to have that with two boxers.
I love that. You and added Lopedo. That's the like that.
That stuff like that would be fun. That'd be fun. That would be fun. But this stuff is a joke. Sorry, I can't take it seriously.
Do you believe though that these type of events bring new fans to boxing? I'm not too sure about that. I only think it brings like 10 fans for those particular fighters.
Look,
like the KSI fight, I was only going to watch the KSI fight. I don't watch a Callum Smith fight or
fight. Okay. You got to understand, people who go and see Anthony Joshua fight, not being funny, a lot of them are dart chuckers, people who like watch darts, because they get all their fans from the darts. And they say, oh, Joshua's fighting Saturday night. All right, you've got a ticket, let's go and see Joshua. They're going there for the drink, the laugh, the social. Half of them are drunk by the time Joshua's going to fight, right? Corporate event, Joshua's there, Joshua's the event, a lot of them. Then you've got the guys who are the spit and dust, the real connoisseurs of boxing. But a lot of these guys are, getting handouts of tickets from mates and who work in corporate industry, from what I understand. A lot of these guys are, no disrespect to them, mash and pie and chips type of guys with beer, going to see the fight. They've gone and see the darts, and because they've seen the darts,
casuals.
Yeah. A lot of them are like that. They're not the guys that are going to turn up to the York Hall and watch the next upcoming fight.
Hardcore boxing.
Right. Now there's a place for guys like that, and it's nothing wrong with it. It's just a different tribe. There's different tribes, and like in business, there's different tribes. And KSI's got that tribe.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Different demographics. So I understand it. I get it. It's business. It's making the money in. So they're making the money. It's legal. So.
But I don't think YouTube boxing actually builds boxing in general because new fans to sport. I just think it'd be just casuals for those type of events. Because again, a KSI fight, I'm not going to watch Callum Smith or Butler.
Let me bring you back a second. Back in the day in America, my good friend David Feldman, he did a celebrity boxing. So you get a lot of these guys that are celebrities fighting. Remember, maybe Vanilla Ice fought somebody, and the American football player, the Fridge, He fought as well as like so. That they had the celebrity boxing from there.
Yeah, and that guy, Screech from 6 Bell fought somebody as well. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So kind of that's kind of like from celebrity boxers kind of trickled down now into this.
I remember that MTV show, the Celebrity Deathmatch.
Right. You see, you had those as well. So you had from there, and now we've trickled down into like YouTubers fighting. So and Love Island people fighting.
Evolution,
so
yeah. And what's his name? Didn't Mark Till train a porn star? Is Eddie Book trained? There were two porn stars fighting not too long ago.
Look. As far as I'm concerned, the conversation isn't about now. Can you fight? It don't matter if you can fight, but if you've got a backstory, right? You got knocked over 4 times by a car. All right, you know what? Put a pair of gloves on. We got a backstory. You got knocked over 4 times by a car. What about you? You smashed 4 buckets of chicken. Right, you smashed 4 buckets of chicken. Right, you get some gloves on, get in the ring, have a fight.
Markability.
You know what I mean? You swung a cat in the house, around the house 4 times. Right. You're a bit of a bad guy. Let's get you in the ring against somebody who's a saint. Right. We've got a fight there. So the purpose of the people boxing today in these sort of exhibition bouts, which is what I call them, they are, no, I'm not disrespectful to them. They're just, anybody who gets in the ring, you've got to respect. But it's just, for a connoisseur of boxing, I can't honestly sit down and say, if somebody gives me a ticket to go and see a KSI fight, I will go and watch KSI fight. But I'm not going specifically to see KSI fight. I'm going to go around, I'm going to socialize with people, I'm going to mingle, I'm going to fight it.
Yeah.
Network, yeah, I'll do that. And then I'll sit down and watch KSI fight. But if you're just going to give me a ticket to go and see KSI fight, and I have to sit down and I must watch KSI fight, forget it. But if I'm going to go there to network with my guys and chill out, socialize, do business.
Build up a new audience, attract a new demographic, build your platform.
Right. Now, if you're going to ask me to go and watch Deontay Wilder fight, right, I ain't got time to do no networking because that fight could end in the first round with the first blow. Yeah. So, do you get what I'm saying? There's this. Right.
I get you, man. I get you, definitely. Anyways, I just hope that this YouTube thing stays in YouTube. I just hope because KSI, trust me, KSI ain't gonna stand a chance against Andrew Tate. If Andrew Tate fights KSI is gonna end up in coma in 1 or 2 rounds. I just hope this YouTube thing sets to YouTube. Don't fight legit fighters.
The thing is, as long as there's a certain promoter in the world, I'm not gonna say his name. As long as there's a certain promoter in the world, that promoter will allow anything to fly. And as long as he's around and he's allowed to promote certain fights, then you will see YouTubers fighting in fights that they have no business being in. And it's when one of those YouTubers gets seriously hurt, then there's going to be an uproar. But we can see it coming. You can see the car crash happening.
Yeah. I hope not, but money talks and money, it's
right.
PS wants a marathon, like they say. Okay, going over the whole Joshua Usyk thing. Looking back now, was it the right decision for Joshua to fight Usyk in a rematch, or should Joshua take a couple of one-off fights? Maybe hire a new trainer.
First things first. You're talking about the home of rematches. Okay,
yeah,
so
yes.
Not match room, rematch room.
Yeah,
rematch room. I'm rebranding them. Rematch room. Yeah, because you're at the home of match room. So at the end of the day, they're always going to go for the rematch, regardless. They'll always go for that rematch. Okay, it's 2 reasons. It gives the guy the opportunity to win his titles back, and B, it's another opportunity for pay-per-view. Now, smart, huh? So I can get 2 pay-per-views for the price of 1. So even if you lose your fight, I still get my revenue by the first fight, and I get a second fight, and I make money on it. It's about business. So it's a good business model, what they've got there. Smart. Anthony Joshua's line of thinking. When he got beaten up and smashed to bits by Andy Ruiz, they asked Robert Garcia his thoughts on Anthony Joshua, and he said, Anthony Joshua cannot be fixed. Said it then. Anthony Joshua told us he was very calculated about the decisions he made. He brought in Robert Garcia way before he went and traveled across America, because he already had Robert Garcia. Because at that time, the night that I heard that Rob McCracken got sacked, Robert Garcia was meant to be the next coach. And I think Ade from the Zone was saying that Robert Garcia was the confirmed coach back then. So I don't know, like, what 1-2-3 management were thinking at the time, because why would you employ a guy that doesn't think you can be fixed and thinks you've got a mental problem and thinks that you don't believe in yourself? And then the fighter is backing Angel Fernandez's judgment. And Angel Fernandez, who's he? What's his lineage? Where did he learn his trade from? Where did he come from? And then you've got that, and you haven't got someone like James Elabashir, who's trained Alexander Usyk from when he turned pro. He could have had him. Joshua trained with Bashir when he was in the Klitschko camp, when Klitschko was jabbing his head off. Bashir was there watching him, wrapping his hands up, and Joshua was sparring with Klitschko. The same time, I think that's around the same camp that Joshua and Dillian White had a big bust up. The same camp that Deontay Wilder got dropped by Vladimir Klitschko. I think also in their camp was Malik Scott, Richard Towers. Who else was in that camp? Quite a few really good heavyweights were in that camp at the time as well. So why Joshua never ever went to James Elabashir is beyond me. And he even brought Bashir into camp, and he worked with Bashir for a week and still trusted Angel Fernandez, because Angel Fernandez and Robert Garcia got on. That's why Robert Garcia was brought into camp. That's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. The heavyweight championship of the world, this is your second chance to put it right. You're paid millions of pounds. People put pay-per-view. You get endorsement deals. You get this and that, and you cannot make one decision to pick the right trainer to get you back to heavyweight championship world. And I said, if you didn't pick James Elabashir or a heavyweight guru, right? A heavyweight guru, a guy who has a history, not a guy who's trained one journeyman heavyweight and a chancer. As far as I'm concerned, Fernandez is a chancer and Robert Garcia are chancers. In the heavyweight division, both of those guys are chancers. What's their resume? Don't tell me about Lawrence Okoli. That's the cruiserweight. And he hasn't even fought the elite yet. So don't tell me about Lawrence Okoli. The elite, he's a good fighter. But this is Alexander Usyk we're talking here. So we're not even talking about, the heavyweight division with an elite pound-for-pound fighter, and you're going to bring in amateurs to do a professional job. That's what it is. At the elite level, you have to have an elite mindset. And you have to have that killer instinct. And the killer instinct would have been, get the guy, whoever the best trainer is, and get the guy who's training Usyk, get him into camp. Usyk, on the other hand, brought in Bakoli, brought back Bakoli, who was Joshua's chief sparring partner. He brought in Malik Scott as well. So you see the difference?
Yeah.
And I tell you, if Usyk goes to fight Tyson Fury and Sugar Hill is available, I wouldn't be surprised if Usyk was already talking to Sugar Hill to get him into camp. Because that guy is going to leave no stone unturned. And that's the difference between being a belt holder and a champion. It's going to stay the course. Like Tyson Fury said, he's just there. He's just happy to be there. He's happy to come second. If you want to come first and you really want to win, imagine if you had Bashir in the corner. There's no way Bashir would allow Joshua to have his arms to get on the ropes. There's no way Bashir would have allowed Joshua to box the way he did. Double the jab and throw a right hook to Usyk?
Yeah, definitely.
Really? So I mean, the instructions that were given.
And again, in the 8th round, where is it Garcia was saying that you open scorecards, that type of BS advice. Rubbish.
So I get, and this is a guy that didn't believe in you. So you pick a guy that doesn't even believe in you. So Why exactly did you employ Robert Garcia? Because Angel Fernandez liked him. And then at the end of the fight, you disowned them. At the end of the fight, you kept away from your team. You didn't even want to be around them. So it may go back to something Joshua said when he was Oxford Uni. He said, no, it's not about the boxing, it's about the money. Maybe it is about the money. Maybe it is about the money. I don't know, but
maybe AJ wants a yes man in his con and not someone like they'll challenge him.
You can't go around calling people like Lennox Lewis a clown and then do what you do there. Because Lennox Lewis reigns supercilious. You can't do that. You can't. And now where does that leave Joshua? Where does he leave him now? Oh, you're going to give him the Deontay Wilder fight? Really? We're going to give him the Dillian White fight? Really?
Speaking and going forward, the Joshua Streeter, the zone deal, that 100 million 5-year deal, how that deal going to work out now without a champion, without any belts? Surely the zone, we're hoping that AJ, beats Usyk and brings the belts, and becomes champion again. So without belts online, is that deal as lucrative for the zone?
If they brought me in as a consultant, what I would do is get AJ down the WBA route, get a fight in the top 10 of the AW, go and fight Trevor Bryant, make your return fight against Trevor Bryant, and then fight Daniel Dubois for the WBA heavyweight championship world. Hope Dubois beats Dillian White, and if Dillian White beats Dubois, then you fight Dillian White for the WBA title to become 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. Because forget the WBC and forget going down the route with Tyson with Usyk. That's done. You're not beating Usyk, and Tyson Fury's got business with Usyk. So
can that actually happen? Wild and AJ, as Alhaim just hates. Is Alhaim's hatred of Hearns
Hearns is talking rubbish. Hearns talking rubbish. He just wants. Look, Eddie Hearn just wants to be heard. And he's half the problem. He's half the problem with AJ. He's half the problem. Blowing smoke up AJ's ass. That's what happens. Hearn had more killer instinct than AJ going into that rematch. We're here to win. Okay. AJ's about getting the job done. Getting what job done? Going to 12 rounds? What was AJ's objective? He said there's a few things he wanted to achieve in that fight. Achievement number 1 is not to get knocked out. Achievement number 2 was to go to points. Achievement 3 was to throw more body shots.
What do you think that ninth round where Usyk seemed hurt, the body shots, and AJ, maybe a lot of people,
okay. That was a bit overrated. It was overrated because if he was that hurt, could you come flying out the traps at round 10 and put it on AJ if you were that hurt?
Okay.
The British commentators like to over-exaggerate because not a lot of things were going AJ's way. He was throwing some good shots, yes. But if Usyk was that badly hurt, how could he come flying out the traps around 10 and put it on AJ? I mean, you tell me, if he was that hurt, like...
he pretty much dominated the last 3 rounds. Round 10, 11, 12, he pretty much dominated Usyk rounds.
So, does that look like somebody who was badly hurt?
But AJ, does AJ didn't try to hug him or try to wear and tear and put his body weight on him? I'm surprised AJ didn't become the big man, use his big man, attributes on Usyk.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Everyone got caught up on the big man attributes, but there were other things AJ didn't do. You could put pressure on a guy without being a big man and use a big man attributes. He's big, he's strong, yeah? Can't box. It's no point being big and strong that you can't box, is it? It's like having a rifle and I've got a stone in my hand, right? And you are scared to pull the trigger, and I'll pick up the stone and dash it in your face. Who's gonna hurt who first?
The guy with the stone.
Right. So he's big and strong, yeah. And can he box?
Instinct.
Can he box? Can he box good enough to beat Usyk? No and no. And has he got a killer instinct against guys who are going to punch him back? We didn't see in the Andy Ruiz fight. When Ruiz punched him up the first time, what happened in the rematch? As soon as Andy Ruiz went to hit him, what did he do? He clinched Andy Ruiz for dear life. And when Usyk, when he tried, you look at the first one, when he tried to jump on Usyk and put it on Usyk, Usyk hit him with a straight left hand and put him back in his box again.
Looking back now, I think it was a mistake for AJ to fight what's his name, Charles Martin for the IBF title back in 2016. I think he should have, after the White fight, he should have taken maybe 2-3 years domestic level before he challenged for a title. Going back now, I think AJ was rushed. I think Eddie Hearn rushed AJ to become champion. He should have more time.
I don't know. I don't know. I think if you had a world-class heavyweight trainer in his corner, that's where it was. Because if he had a world-class heavyweight trainer in his corner, he wouldn't have got himself in the trouble that he has got himself into. The problem started with AJ.
You wait, Rob McCracken.
Okay, what's Robert McCracken's record as a heavyweight trainer?
0.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Is he a heavyweight?
No.
Well, there you go.
Middleweight.
Lennox Lewis warned AJ over and over again. He said, you're asking a school teacher, a maths teacher, to do a professor's job. There's a time and a place, and AJ should have been handed over to a world-class trainer years ago. When he got knocked out by Ruiz, that was the time then he should have seen sense to get a world-class trainer in, but he didn't. When Lennox Lewis got knocked out by Oliver McCall, what did he do?
Manny Stewart.
He had a cheerleader in his corner, which was Pepe Correa. He's British and he's bad. Remember that?
Yeah.
Right. And he was being warned over and over again. Bruno warned him. George Foreman warned him after Lennox fought Phil Jackson. He said, you need to get yourself a proper trainer. You look terrible. You look amateurish. You're throwing the right hand and you're leaving yourself wide open.
Yeah, very stiff, and he's very stiff. And no, he's the hit Lennox's early days. And
then he got knocked out by Oliver McCall. And then what happened? Lennox went with Manny Stewart.
Yeah.
And then
AJ left Loughborough, left the UK, went to America and got himself a world-class trainer.
Yeah, but that's mentality again. Mentality. Lennox had killer in him. AJ got killer. Everyone's talking about AJ the killer, but AJ the killer was knocking on them guys like what's this guy? Like Matt,
Charles Martin, that done Brazil's. Yeah.
Matt Skelton and
Gary Cornish.
That's not killer instinct. That's knocking over guys they're not going to punch you back.
I was saying to my friend, if only AJ had an ass, not a yes man in his corner, because at least Tyson has John Fury, somebody that genuinely loves him, that cares about him.
Yeah.
Well, AJ doesn't have that. AJ has just yes man in his corner.
When you talk about killer, when you look at killer, look at Inoue. That's a killer. Inoue, that's a killer. Right? When you look at
better be here, that's a killer. Better be here.
Right, now you talk about killer. Do you understand? That's a killer. That's a man at any time, regardless who he fights, will turn your lights out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And could you imagine Beterbiev or Inoue taking selfies with their opponent before the fight and shaking hands and smiling? And these guys ain't got time for that.
Yeah, Stone Cold.
Could you imagine George Foreman, Sonny Liston, Mike Tyson standing and taking photos with their opposition and smiling and
giving the belts away?
So or coming into the ring, waving to the crowd and all this stuff like you're Rocky. I mean, that stuff is here. And you're gonna fight Usyk? No.
Is in your opinion, is Conor Benn Eddie Hearn's plan B if AJ's career goes down south from now on? Because I'm thinking of what I get it. I don't get the same time. Why is Conor Benn fighting Chris Eubank right now? This early in his career. Apart from obviously the money. Why?
Look at where he's coming out of. Look at the track record of the people who's looking after him. They are responsible for car crash after car crash after car crash after car crash. Money first, career second.
It is literally Kell Bug versus Glotkin 2.0, in your opinion.
It's different.
Skill level.
It's different because Kell Brook was already an established world champion, right? And he moved up to fight Golovkin. He had no business moving up to middleweight, first thing. Secondly, he was considered in many people's eyes one of the best welterweights in the world, having come off a win against Sean Porter.
Yeah.
Nobody considers Conor Benn a world top 10 or top 5 welterweight in the world, apart from those who look at BoxRec and believe that. Nobody sees Conor Benn as a world class because who's he beaten? Van Heerderen, who's like, I don't know where they dug him up from. And what was the other guy knocked out?
Chris Algieri.
Algieri.
He's
the cook.
5-10 years past his prime, yeah.
The cook for Danny Jacobs, where's he? So I'm not being disrespectful, but if Conor Benn beats Chris Eubank Jr., it still isn't the Chris Eubank Jr. that, and I hate people to keep talking about, hey, Chris Eubank Jr., he fought George Groves, and but he fought that guy at super middleweight, and he wasn't restricted in weight.
Yeah, you definitely. I'm curious to see what happens if AD loses to Usyk, and if Canelo loses to Golovkin, and if Benn loses to Eubank. That's going to be the worst year ever for Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. 3 year of your star fight losing. That's going to be a disaster.
Delighted. Absolutely delighted. No, well, look, the Golovkin fight, for me, I mean, I've talked to Uncle Bashir. He believes that Golovkin's going to get knocked out. But I said to Uncle Bashir, just imagine if the poundage, the extra poundage that Golovkin has gives him a new lease of life.
Yeah.
And he's able to have a little bit more stamina and a little bit more punching power. Just imagine. And he can actually fight better at super middleweight than he does at middleweight. Just imagine.
Yeah, because I think Glotkin's problem at the moment. He's weight training at 160. He should be 160 fighting now.
That's what I'm thinking. At his age. Now.
You look fresh. You will look fresh at 168. You look rejuvenated.
Yeah, we'll see how he does. Look at Callum Smith at 175 now.
Yeah, definitely a better fighter now. A much stronger fighter.
I like what I'm seeing of Callum Smith. I like what I'm seeing of him.
Yeah, him, Buddy McGirt, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of upcoming fights, Shields Marshall, Glotkin, Triple G, Benn Eubank. What fights are you most anticipate looking forward to now?
Crawford Spence, November.
Okay.
Crawford Spence, November. Should it happen? Crawford Spence. Usyk Fury.
Oh, Usyk Fury. Your thoughts on that fight? Do you think the only way Fury beats Usyk if he knocks him out? You don't think Fury can outbox Usyk?
Again, people are going down the line of, well, he's bigger than him. Look, people have not said to me, like, Tyson Fury's a better boxer than Usyk. He's bigger. That's what they say, he's bigger, so he's just going to lean on him. But I do bring people back to remind them of the last good, skilled small guy fought, which was Steve Cunningham.
Yeah.
And he still calls Steve Cunningham his toughest fight after, obviously, the Deontay Wilder fights. And I don't think Steve Cunningham's in the same class as Alexander Usyk, to be honest with you.
I think Alexander Usyk is arguably the best. If him and Holyfield, the best cruiserweight of all time. So
I'd like to see how Tyson Fury fights with a guy who's going to definitely mess his footwork up, who's definitely not going to be plodding, definitely not going to just stand there, let him hit him, or let himself open for an uppercut, or when they get back straight up, can't do anything. Usyk can box going forward, he can box going back, he can move side to side.
I think Usyk will be toughest fight of Fury's career, most of the Wilder.
Absolutely, he's going to make Fury use those feet.
Yeah.
And if Fury just puts his hands up like he does when he's in trouble, and walk forward against Usyk. Usyk will slide to the sides. And Fury's got a lot of things that he does, like he pulls his shots up, rubs his nose, feints before he throws shots. Usyk has got all the talent and the ability to give Tyson Fury absolute nightmares. And we don't know how much Fury's actually got left, because from what I see now, Fury, after the Dillian White fight, he is now accepted. I'm a power puncher. I'm going to plod forward. I'm going to land big punches, and I'm going to knock you out. I don't see
which Fury. What's the best Fury that can be used? Is the Fury that
Klitschko?
Klitschko.
Yes. That Fury we will never see that Fury again. Never. He's gone. Forget it. We haven't seen it since that night.
Even the first Wilder fight. In the first Wilder fight, he was moving around.
No, not like that. Not like that. And bearing in mind, Klitschko's a better boxer than Wilder.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. That only that Fury can beat Ruiz, in your opinion. The Fury that fit Klitschko, that's the best Fury we've seen. That's
the best Fury. It's the lightest Fury. Yeah, that's the most together Fury's ever looked for me. That's the best. You look at someone like Wilder, who's technically deficient. You push him onto the back foot. You neutralize his punching power, and you push him back. When you force him back, he's not as effective as when he's coming forward throwing punches. That's why Fury pushed him back in the fights with a double jab, pushed him back. You can't just double jab Alexander Usyk and think you're going to win a fight. You're going to have to do a bit more than that. You know, you can't just throw an uppercut like Dillian White. You're going to have to do more. You have to put that together. And you have to do it consistently over 12 rounds with a guy who's going to be constantly moving, putting a jab in your face, putting pressure on you. You know, you having to work it out now.
Yeah, because arguably Usyk has just as good, or if not a better boxing IQ than Fury himself.
There we go. So it changes the dynamics for a lot of things.
Wow. And if Usyk beats Fury because of heavyweight champion, is he in your opinion top 5, top 10 of all time heavyweights, or maybe even boxers?
Got to put him up there. I mean, undisputed cruiserweight champion, undisputed heavyweight champion. Who else has done that? Evander, Holyfield. So there you go. You've got to put him up there. And remember, this man won his titles as undisputed champion on the road. In fact, he won the unified belts on the road.
Yeah, in that World Boxing Super Series in territories. Yeah,
and even if he fights Fury for the undisputed, he'll be doing it on the road. The fight isn't going to happen in Ukraine, so he's a guy who's won his belts on the road.
Yeah, definitely unbelievable.
So he's going to have to go right up there, because he's not only just won belts in America, like sitting in America winning belts, or sitting in Ukraine winning belts. He's gone around the world collecting belts.
And beating number one in each division. He beat Gassiev and Braders in a cruiserweight.
And beating people in their prime, not people who are like on the retired, or guys that at the end of their careers. He's beaten guys that are still going on to become champions after that. You know, so Usyk's got to be given some real credit. And if he beats Fury, you're talking about top 5 for me all time.
If he managed to beat Fury and then fights Wilder and Joyce, I could probably see maybe top 3 greatest of all time. I'll put him above Lewis.
Me?
If he beats Joyce, I'll put him above Lewis. If he beats Fury, Joyce, and Wilder, I'll put him above Lewis.
He doesn't need to do that, because Fury is considered number 1. He beats Fury, retire. Be done with that. Retire. Be done. What do you feel to that?
Yo, Dad, hello? Bear me, Ingram, be back. Hold on.
Sure.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so top 5 all time, definitely. If he beats Fury, and remember, he's already got a win over Joyce already.
In the amateurs, yeah.
Right. So
definitely.
and if Joyce gets beat by Joseph Parker,
how do you see that fight going, Joyce and Parker?
if Joyce comes out as sloppy as he did against Christian Hammer, he's gonna have big problems, and he's gonna find that Joseph Parker is no tickle. Big problems. You can't come out sloppy like that against Christian Hammer. I mean, Christian Hammer is way past his sell-by date. 1 and 2, he's not a fast puncher.
Okay.
So God forbid Parker puts a 1-2-3 combination on Joyce. And remember, Joyce has been stopped in the first round before by Anthony Joshua. Okay. So I'd have concerns if I were Joyce. I rate Joyce highly, but for him to win the fight, he's got to put Joseph Parker on the ropes.
I think Joyce beats him on points. My gut feeling Joyce on points, but I think definitely if Parker had Andy Lee early in his career, we see Parker being a much better fight. I think Parker may have beaten Joshua and
Joshua
and White if he had Andy Lee as a trainer or a better trainer.
I said it for years that Parker needs to get rid of that trainer. So, well, it's what it is.
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of AJ being a pay-per-view star, does it matter if AJ beats it? Does it? Because AJ's lost the titles now. Is AJ, in your opinion, still obviously? Does it matter who he fights? He's still AJ. He still control a massive crowd. He's still stadium fights.
He'll still get. He'll still get the crowds, but he'll still do the crowds. But he you know, you've got Tyson Fury. If Tyson Fury becomes undisputed, that's a real problem. But if Usyk beats Tyson Fury, it looks good on AJ. So AJ's got to pray that Usyk beats Fury.
That's fun, yeah, definitely. I didn't think you heard picked Usyk to beat Fury in the interview. Heard.
Well, it